According to Bentham, there are 8 respects which we have just seen now. There are 8 respects or the 8 criteria which can be considered to analyze any law. Means we can say that the Bentham is providing the art of lawmaking, how the law should be made, what should be the precautions to be taken at the time of drafting a law. At the time of drafting a law, he says that a law should be complete. This is the first condition, that the law should be complete, means there should be a least chance of discretion, there should be least chance for interpretation. The law should be a complete code, and therefore there is a principle of interpretation that you must read the whole statute first, then you proceed for interpretation. Means the law should be complete. In what regard? In regard in its expression. Whatever the law wants to express, he should express it without vagueness or without any absurdity. There should be specificness. Its language should be clear. The language should be precise. The language should be certain. It should provide a clear meaning, definite meaning. Then and only we can say that the law is complete in its expression. It is expected that the law should provide the clear construction of provisions. The law should be complete in connection. The law should be complete in connection. Connection means every other provision of statute must be related with each other. Provisions must be interlinked. The provisions must be interlinked. One provision should not be in inconsistency with another provisions. If that's so, if one provision is inconsistent with another, then we have to make harmonious construction. But the legislature, the sovereign, while issuing a law, should make a law that it should have a connection with other statutes, with another provisions that we know as the statutes in pari materia. Statutes in pari materia that you have studied in your interpretation. Then the law should be complete in design. The law should be complete in design means the skeleton, the framework of law must be appropriate. It should not harm, it should not violate the other statutes. Means no law shall be in absurdity, in dispute with another law. Therefore, according to Bentham, this is what the law should be. A law should be complete in expression, in connection, in design. Next, according to Bentham, every law contains imperative provisions. Imperative, practical, possible. The no law should be impossible one. Every law should have practical provisions which can be enforced, which can be practiced by each and every individual for whom the law is made. That the law should be practical. It should contain a practical provisions. Now these provisions may be qualified or unqualified. Qualified means subject to or condition precedent may be provided. There may be condition, there may be subject to. Generally, there is a construction of provision that provided that subject to means these are the qualified conditions for fulfilling the proviso. Yala apan kya bolte? Proviso. You have to fulfill the earlier part of section. Or the provisions may be unqualified, means clear. Where the provisions are unqualified, unexpounded, then the law is very easy to understand, the law is simple to understand. But where the law contains some provisions which are qualified, which are expounded at that time, the law requires interpretation, the law requires more clarity. जिथे लॉ मध्ये काय आहे, क्वालिफिकेशन्स आहेत, प्रोविजो आहे, एक्सपाउंडेड आहे, त्या ठिकाणी काय करावं लागतंय, तर मोठ्या प्रमाणात इंटरप्रिटेशनची गरज भासते, कारण लोकांना कळत नाही नेमका कुठला लॉ फॉलो करायचा आहे. But where the law is unqualified, unexpounded, at that time the judges do not require to make more interpretation, the law receives literal interpretation. Okay. Now, every law is nothing but the expression of the will of sovereign, and therefore the definition of statute is, it is the will of legislature. What is law? Is nothing but an expression, written will of sovereign, because the sovereign, the parliament, do make the law in written form. Now, if that expression, if it is complete, if that expression is complete, unqualified, then that expression shall receive literal interpretation. जसं आहे तसं. You need not to change, you need not to expound the meaning, because the meaning which is given in the provisions is clear enough, precise, certain. Therefore, at that time, the judiciary shall make literal interpretation. But where the expression is incomplete, as I said here, if the expression is incomplete, at that time the judiciary provide liberal interpretation, that is, the judiciary will have discretion to interpret such law. हे सर्व सांगण्याचं कारण काय, तर बेंथॅमचं म्हणणं काय, तर लॉ कसा पाहिजे, इम्परेटिव्ह पाहिजे, मीन्स द अल्टिमेट ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह ऑफ आयडियल कोड, द आयडियल लॉ. How the ideal law shall be? According to Bentham, the ideal law, it shall consist, such laws, ideal laws shall consist or shall be jurisprudentially analyzable, means which is subject to criticism, which is subject to research, which is subject to review by the jurist, by the academics, by the social scientist. Means every law shall have jurisprudentially analyzable characteristics. Means you cannot say that this is the law which we have made and you have to follow it, but the every law is subject to scrutiny, and the new name to which it is branded as judicial review. In short, we can say that every law shall have judicial review or shall within the purview of judicial review, and therefore judicial review is one of the basic structures of the Indian Constitution, as said by the Supreme Court in many cases. Means the Supreme Court, the jurist can make every provision analyzable, subject to investigation, subject to analysis. Okay, therefore the Bentham is considered as imperative, practical,